Now that we've seen the marks a deteriorating dishwasher rack can make on dishes, it leaves those nasty rust marks that you have to take cleanser and a scrub brush and really rub and rub and rub to get them out. Because what happens is that just that vinyl coating over top of the wire rack gets, this is our dishwasher rack here, kind of gets worn out in little spots, and you can see it here. And I'm going to zoom out here a little bit so you can see the whole rack here a little bit better. And then it's a problem that you get rust. So I tried looking at a new rack here, and just a rack for a dishwasher, a pretty standard one, is at least $100 plus shipping, and that's on eBay. If you buy it at other places, it's probably going to be closer to $140. And a dishwasher, a real basic one, is not that expensive. So I figure, well, maybe I better try to repair it. So that's what we're going to try to do today and see how it goes. It's a couple-day process because you have to put it on in layers. So let's get started. Now here's what we're going to be using. It's a product called Re-Rack. It's made by Performix, and it's just a little bottle of some vinyl stuff, and it cost about, with tax, I guess it was close to like $9 for this little bottle, although the bottle has enough to do a number of racks. The instructions on the back say make sure that you sand down everything, clean it with ammonia first, and make sure it's absolutely dry. Don't put it on too thick, put a little bit on, wait 24 hours, put some more on, gradually build it up. So we're going to try this and see how it works. Okay, let's go. Now this may be a little hard to see because it's difficult to get the camera in closer here, and I have light coming in from my window and my kitchen light on, but I do have a file here, a very fine file. It's tough to get the file in there to file down those bad spots. So I'm just trying to gingerly just get a little bit off there. And I don't know how this file is going to work. I don't think it's going to work too well because we have like two sections that are really bad, like right in here, and there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's say 8 definite areas, maybe 9. There's a little one forming, couple over here that are forming that are very light. So we've got probably one here, so 10 or 12 areas, but it's tough to get that file in here. You can't really get it. So I have some other, type of sandpaper made for sanding metal, and I have some steel wool too, and I'm not sure how that's going to work. If I can get this in here, this seems to be the most difficult part, to get this in here. I don't know. It's really not getting it there, so I'm going to have to fool with this and wrestle with it to see if I can get that sanded down. Now here's a close-up of 2 areas that I have sanded, and I used one of my small files, and I used that sandpaper and was very careful to wrap it around there. Now I haven't used the alcohol yet, which I'm going to do next, but I just wanted to show you a close-up. It's about as close as I can get if I can angle this back. It's a little hard to see here. I've got my little video light on, maybe that will help. I don't know, but that's just 2 of the areas that were kind of bad that I sanded down. Okay, now we're going to use the alcohol next. Well, I've changed the lighting a little bit, try to get some of that bright sunlight out of the way, and just using my overhead light. But I have some cotton here now. This is just old cotton from vitamin bottles. I have alcohol. This is 70% rubbing alcohol. I don't know, something in the past I needed to have this particular type of alcohol, but I think the regular alcohol that you buy has less alcohol in it. So, but this should work just fine. And this is clean, so I'm going to daub this on here, but I'm not going to put it back into the bottle later because that will contaminate the bottle. Put that out of the way, and now we're going to go in here and clean this off with alcohol. It's kind of difficult here, a little bit messy, it's dripping, and we want to clean all these off. It's a very difficult area to work in here. And you want to get this all clean so there's no residue or anything on there. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to continue this off camera so I can do a little bit better job. Okay, now we're ready to apply the re-rack. I've already shaken the bottle quite vigorously, and I've looked inside, and I have a piece of cardboard underneath, a couple little pieces of paper towel, a couple little craft sticks if I need them. And it says the first coat should be a light coat. Dries to the touch in 30 minutes, but best to wait overnight before you put another coat on. I've already done the alcohol, and I think I did pretty good. Some of that rust goes pretty deep, but I don't want to dig down too far into that and maybe break one of those. So I'm going to try it the way it is, and here's what it looks like. It's kind of like white out or paint. And I'm just, there's a little cap that goes inside that is caught in there. But now we're going to try it on a little popsicle craft stick. And it seems to be pretty thin. So looks like we'll try some more here. Maybe this is to get it off the cap. I'm worried about knocking that over. So let's try one here. It's a little bit hard working in these confined spaces, I'll tell you that. I'm trying to do it lightly, but it's flowing pretty heavy here. And it's tough to get in these spots here, let me tell you that for sure. Here. I'm going to have to lift this up and do a little more without the camera on because I need to move around and my head's going to get in the camera, in the way of the camera. Well, put the first application on. Like I said, it's a little thin and it does tend to get tacky after a few minutes. So you don't want to play around with it too much, but it's a little hard to get your hand in there with that brush, and it's going to run a certain way if you're holding it a certain way. So it is a bit tricky. I'm going to try to move this here so you can see that. I don't know if it's in focus or not. And we'll try to look at some other ones further up here. Here's the rest of them I've done. And we're going to let this sit overnight and see how it does. And then I'll come back tomorrow, do another coat, and see how this works, if it holds up. I may have to put massive globs of it on there. But see, in this section here, when I put dishes, the dishes always go, I guess, in this certain area. And from years and years of use, just the weight of the dishes has worn out grooves in those areas there, and as the dishes wash, they rattle back and forth and they move a little bit, so they tend to wear down grooves right where the edge of the dish sits, and that's where you get that rust portion. So okay, let's come back in 24 hours. Okay, this is 24 hours later, and I've got the camera off the tripod so I can get in here really close. And no sunlight today, so this is just my overhead kitchen light. And you can see that it's still a little thin. You can see through there in some spots. And today we're going to be putting another coat on, and I might ultimately go for 3 coats. And all these tines are in the way from me getting in close here. But there you can see. Okay. Well, this may be a little hard to see, but this is after 3 coats, 3 thin coats. And the stuff is white. And maybe a little hard to see. Try to go around there so you can see it. Okay, here's another view here, and I'm going to try to come out here, and my battery's getting low, so this is what you're going to have to see. But it worked out pretty good here. If I bring this back, you can see all the white sections that I did there. Okay.